This is how hot it gets on Davi Davenport Live. You know, I started that. Look, I'm out here with Don Juan from the lipstick to the pulpit. Davi Davenport Live right here. And guess what? Nobody loves you more than I do. Oh my God, I'm so excited, guys. I'm so excited. Here we go. It's time. It's time for the live show. Davi Davenport Live. Oh my God, guys. I am so excited. This is going to be an amazing show this evening. Thank you so much for joining me on Davi Davenport Live. I was like, am I on camera? Here we go, guys. I was like, for a second, I was like, am I on camera? But good evening, everyone, and welcome to Davi Davenport Live. As you all know, this is where conversations are not just heard. This is where we're actually living out live experiences together. I want to say a huge thank you to my dear friend, Ashonia Scott of Essie Marie's Dressing, who was my in-studio guest last week. We're talking about heart-healthy living, and boy, oh boy, was it exciting. Now, tonight, we're going to step into a space that's reshaping how we think. Everybody has this on my mind, how we create, how we build, and ultimately how we live. We're talking about the conversation of AI. Now, AI, of course, artificial intelligence really is what is referred to, is a term that's everywhere right now, but few people really understand it. Although my guest tonight is going to talk about AI from a perspective of understanding it and how it's changed his life and exactly how this can change your life also. So whatever you do, don't touch that dial. Share with some friends we're on. Also, you know, I always say, if you share for the person that shares it the most, you're going to get a t-shirt. We're going to talk about the right tools tonight. We're going to talk about the things that can change your life with AI. Tonight, Myrin New, as they call him, the AI guru. He is referred to as the AI guru, guys. That's right. Is going to be joining me this evening, and some excitement is in store. So let me get ready to bring Myrin in, because Myrin is truly, I saw him in the back. He was already moving around and enjoying himself. He's like, Davi, I'm here. Let's get Myrin in. Myrin, I appreciate you. Let's get you in right now. Myrin New is joining me on the scene of Davi Davenport Live. Myrin, what's going on? Well, let me make sure I give you your proper respect. Myrin's like, wait a minute, I thought you said that you were going to be doing so. Davi. There we go. So super, you're like, she's so goofy. I always have so much fun with everything. I'm like, am I on the camera? Am I on here? So I think so. Myrin, welcome, and thank you so much for joining me this evening on Davi Davenport Live. To everyone out there, please go ahead. For the person that shares it the most, I'm going to give you a Davi Davenport Live t-shirt. So share, tell all your friends about it. Share the YouTube page, share our Facebook pages. And please, this is going to be a conversation that, in my opinion, this is a conversation that everybody needs to be involved in. Hello, Myrin New. How are you this evening?
I'm good, Davi, and thank you for having me on tonight. It's a pretty exciting topic to talk about. So, yeah, let's get started.
So, you know, Myrin, the conversation with AI is something that it's really, people are talking about it all around. People are saying that, you know, they really think that maybe AI is going to take over our lives, or it's going to be a bad experience, which you and I, you know, we talked for about an hour the other day, a little bit over an hour actually. And we spoke about how if you utilize AI the right way, it can be one of the greatest things that ever happened. I'm going to share this evening 3 different movies that my uncle referred over to me. And I've been sharing with you how much I respect him and everything that he's done in the artificial intelligence community as well. So I'm going to share that. But so many people are talking about doom and gloom. And then there's a whole group of us that are saying, no, if you understand how to utilize the technology, it's incredible. So the first thing I'd like to start is, why do they call you the AI guru? That's what I want to know.
Okay.
AI guru, that's quite a name, the AI guru.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, generative AI, which is the likes of the Chat GPTs and the Geminis and the Claudes and the other derivatives of that AI, wasn't released to the public until about late 2022. So at late
Mm,
2022 I was one of the hundreds of thousands of early adopters worldwide who
sure.
actually had taken a look under the hood at what is generative AI and what could it do. And so all of us in the beginning was pretty much figuring out that, you ask a question and you get a reply. And so we ask many questions, and the quality of the questions that you ask and determines the quality of the answer that you get. And so, just being an early adopter and understanding fundamentally which companies were in the front, the
Okay.
leader pack. Yeah. So,
So Myron,
um,
you're telling me in 2022, this is 2026. A lot of people, I didn't have any idea how many people didn't even know what ChatGPT was. So you're saying in 2022, you were actively involved in artificial intelligence.
and then generative artificial intelligence. Now, there is a whole discipline of artificial intelligence that, you know, date back to the 50s and the 60s. I was not
Yes.
part of that. We're talking about the generative AI that's available to the public today. So.
Can you explain to the viewer of Davi Davenport Live the difference of the two? Because you explained it to me the other day when you say generative AI and then the opposite of that.
Yeah, so generative AI is based on it's a learning language model, LLM, and what that is that researchers, analysts have trained computers to recognize things like documents, read documents, objects, images, to discern what these images are. The difference between a cat and a dog. A dog
Sure.
has certain characteristics and so forth and so on. There's another kind of adaptive AI. That's the one where uh, scientists and data analysts and researchers usually program for a specific domain. For example, in the medical field, you wouldn't walk into a hospital and a doctor will not, the medical staff will not be using AI, the AI that we use, like ChatGPT. They will be using a
Sure.
pretty much a different strain of AI to do things like gene coding and not biological, biomedical kind of applications.
You know what, Myron?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy that you say that, just to interject there. So I had one of the viewers on
Mhm.
Facebook that actually tapped in with me and said there's no way that he would ever allow a robot to ever perform a surgery on him. And he said, no way, I wouldn't do it. I don't care. And I shared with him, and a lot of the viewers don't know this, but I will share with the viewer right now that I actually had a robotic surgery myself June the 4th. So I had what they call the Da Vinci surgery that was done, and I had half of my lung removed at that point, and it was done. My surgeon was in the room at that time. However, the surgeon wasn't performing my actual surgery to remove half the lung. So that was the difference. And the guest said, "Oh, Davi, I would never even consider that." Vivi Jenkins said, hey, what's up? Angie Martin's on here. Angie said, hey, Myra, you see she's in there. Hello. You know that. Vanessa Graves is on board right now as well. Vivi Jenkins is here. What's up, Vivi? How are you? Thank you to everyone that's tuning in right now. To anyone that's also out there on YouTube, we really appreciate you. Tonight, we're talking about artificial intelligence. I have someone referred to as the AI guru that's joining us this evening. So many of you have written into me with Davi Davenport Live and said, Davi, I want to know exactly how to utilize artificial intelligence. So I wanted to bring someone on that's highly respected, someone that can give you the information. That got a little blurry there. Artificial intelligence isn't anything that we need to be afraid of, in my opinion. If anything, it can enhance your business. It helps me with the show. It helps me with my real estate business. And it also gives a great amount of information. So when I decided to bring Myrin New on as a guest, it was because I wanted to make sure that we could get informed and actually we could grow together as well. Michael Cox is in the house. Michael said, so dope. Love you, my brother. Love you. He's the CEO and founder of Born Vein. He's going to be joining me in May on Davi Davenport Live in studio to come and hang out. So I'm super excited about that. So Myrin, for anyone that, and you spoke when you said 2022, you actually told me 6 months after it was launched, you
Yes.
got involved with OpenAI. And I remember when we first got our computers in 1999, I actually got involved with emails and all that technology. And everybody was pretty spooked about that, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm dating myself somewhat, but I remember when, the VCRs came out and everybody's like, oh my God, then the CD. So of course, I say all that to say, because people have a tendency to become a little apprehensive when it comes to technology. So for anyone that's, I know you're teaching classes and I want you to share a little bit about your classes in a bit as well. But for anyone that's out there, what would you say would be the first step from a teaching standpoint? I see you have your lab coat on also. Again, we're going to discuss it, but what would be the first step for someone never been a part of artificial intelligence, never had that experience? What would you say would be the first step for them?
I tell them a true account in history. Way back in the 19th century, there was a group of people called the Luddites, and they were in Europe, and they were really spooked about the Industrial Revolution at the time, which was steam and water, and steam and water, and that was creating machines, and so they were part of a textile industry where they manually did textile. And so they saw that these machines was going to displace them in terms of work. And it did. But it also presented new opportunities for them because you needed to have machine operators and loaders and other kind of mechanics on the machine. And so, yes, it did displace the original job of hand knitting or hand doing textile by hands, but it created other opportunities. That was the first industrial revolution. Then I like to remind people, we're in our fourth industrial revolution, where the second one was about electricity. We moved away from candles. Now people love candles, and so we moved to light bulbs. And then we went to that third industrial revolution. Once you just mentioned the computers, people love typing all the time, and using carbon paper to make copies and stuff, and ink. So we moved away from that. And what did it do? It gave us better productivity and more opportunities, and people gave us better offices and better processes for business. Now we're in the fourth industrial revolution. This one's called AI, where we use the Internet of Things and we use autonomous robots and pretty language models. So to ease everyone's comfort, to ease everyone's mind, I just say that this is about change. And yes, it's going to look different, but it's presenting many opportunities. For example, kids today need tutors, and so we have structural problems in our education system all around the country where we don't have enough teachers, we don't have enough tutors for every student. So now every student on his or her own can actually have an individualized tutor. We don't have enough consultants in the home for simple things like how to prepare your meals, or how to prepare a trip, or what's the best cable plan I should have. How many streaming channels can I have in order to cut my cable bill? There's a plethora of very creative things that we can do with generative AI. It all starts with asking a basic question, the one that you have in your mind.
I love that you just said. You broke down the basics that we're able to utilize this within our homes on a daily basis. So where you mentioned, a lot of people are talking about fear. Angie says she loves AI. A lot of people are talking about the fear, but you just said something. I went to a therapist to see about rehabilitating my knee. I had a torn meniscus. I dropped the information that I got from this therapist into chat and asked chat to give me a detailed plan for working on my knee. And I 100% respect all the physicians, But this detailed plan has been so good that I'm strengthening my knee, Myron. I am actually and because the doctors can only see you for so much time. No, but on I'm seeing the doctor once a week.
Mm-hmm.
And yet still I'm talking to Chet whenever I want to, gotten a plan, told one of my girlfriends I'm having my mobility is changing because I tore my meniscus. It was a pretty bad tear.
Sure.
So it's something totally different. I want to tell you guys how I tore it. It's pretty crazy. Actually, I was trying to take some pole dancing lessons, thinking that I could do some upper body strength. And they said I was the oldest one in the class. I should have taken note with that one as well, but that's okay. So what are you thinking? Because I know I see a lot of misconceptions. And what are some of the misconceptions that you hear and that you see out when you're talking to people? Let's say in your classroom, I'm going to pull up a little something here. I see that you're in the classroom on a regular basis. You're giving certificates away to some of your students. You have a ton of things that are going on. What are some of the misconceptions when students come in the room with you that they may say that they didn't know or they didn't know were possible?
It's interesting that photo that you just shared was a couple of students. These were actually AI scientists. They actually revealed to me that they were AI scientists. They were building a language model, but what they were more interested in was my critical thinking processes. That's what they were interested in, and I kept them captive in my seminar for like 5 hours, 5 consecutive hours. That they sat with me and they watched, and we built like a fictitious company, but on paper it really looks good. Some of the things that we cover is the gaps, the productivity gaps that we have personally in I guess probably in our day-to-day lives. For example, you just mentioned about how you use ChatGPT for some medical analysis. Now, I often say that ChatGPT is not a replacement for the medical community in a social way, but it does have comprehensive information that it gathers from credible sources to give you diagnosis. It gave me a perfect diagnosis that I actually was able to take to my doctor, and we required to have a procedure, and I gave Chat the description of what the symptoms I had. It accurately told me what I had and how it was going to be treated.
We want to do a disclaimer here too, guys, just chime in. This is a total disclaimer. We are not saying that utilizing Chat replaces your doctor or anything at all like that. That's not what we're saying at all. We're saying that to utilize it in addition as a tool. Like I take my doctor's, whatever my tests are, and I'll drop it inside. It was one of the things that my uncle told me that would be exciting. There is a Shoni inside that we love. She said, pole dancing, LOL. But it's not to replace that. So for anyone that's not at all what we're saying. We don't want somebody to say, hey, on Davi Davenport Live, I heard them say, and then the gurus say that we could replace it. Not at all. What's up, Ashonia? How are you? This is Ashonia Scott of S.E. Marie's, CEO and founder, Heart Healthy Living. She was just on the show last week, and I love her so much. One of my best girlfriends. So continue. So you're saying you're able to utilize it with your doctors. And the same thing I'm concluding. But for when the student, you said these were scientists that were actually...
Yeah, they were scientists. They were interested in how I would prompt an AI engine, and I developed I guess a really good discipline in prompting because the prompts that I use, and I've been using since 2022 now, in my own AI account, I have trained my personal assistant, quote unquote, the personal assistants, that's what we call them, to be so exact and so precise about doing things like changing the tone of an email that I'm writing. I might write an email and it may have an incorrect tone. I might be conveying the wrong message. I'll ask Chat to review what my objectives in the email is. And it'll soften the message. It will change it. It will almost appear to be sitting next to me, feeling my emotions at the time. If I say write a happy email or sad email or joyous email or, up tempo. So it's those are the kind of examples that I like to give, and I like to have people just ask a question into Chat GPT or
Mm-hmm.
Google's Gemini or
Sure.
Anthropic's Claude. Just ask a simple question.
Yes.
How do I use you?
Now, Myron, I want to ask you something just to double back a little bit about what you said. Do you ever think that artificial intelligence or chat or any of them will ever replace human creativity? Because you just said something that stood out to me. And I know that I utilize it the same way. And I'll say, hey, what do you think about this? Do you think this is the right way to say this? Can you make
Mhm.
sure that I'm, articulating this correctly? And I feel like I'm a very intelligent woman, but I still want to ask, what do you think about this? Do you think there'll ever be a point where this will replace human creativity? Because a lot of people, we don't want to become so reliant upon
Mhm.
something that
Mhm.
we forget, in my opinion, that we forget to also tap into our own senses. So what's your thought process on that? Do you think there will be a time where it replaces human creativity?
No. And I'll give you
Okay.
I'll give you a perfect example of something in history. Consider this. 30 to 40,000 years ago, or whatever the religious belief you are, it was 2,000 years ago. Since the
Mhm.
beginning of man and woman has always been creating art, the hieroglyphics or ancient paintings and things of that sort, right? Look at today. So today we're using digital computers and digital cameras and videos and all kind of drawing pads, and we still have today creative designers. So the technology that we have today will suffice that we should have ended creativity, right? In terms of art, but it didn't. Think about music. Since the beginning of time that we made sounds. And so hundreds of years all across the globe, various citizens of the world has been making music. And look at it today. We have AI now, and so music is still being created.
Sure.
However, how it's being created is a little bit different. The creativity of it
Mhm.
by the individual artist or composers or whomever is using the tool, they're using their creativity to guide the tool into what to do.
Sure. Sure.
So,
Now, I've seen some, and I am really, first of all, I want to thank you again for joining me today. For anyone that's just coming in or joining the show right now, we're talking about artificial intelligence and exactly how this can be a plus in your life. I have Myrin New, referred to as the AI guru, is joining us on show today. Oh, looks like I got a little blurry there, guys. On the show today, super excited. Myron's talking to us about how we can actually use AI in our lives to be to huge pluses. I know for me, it's a day-to-day something that's become a part of my life. So, Myron, I'm so excited that you're on Davi Davenport Live. You really, I know how I got a chance to chat with you extensively the other day. And it was, for me, I got a lot of information. I felt like I was in a class at the time myself. But I said, Myron, people are building brands.
mhm.
Yeah, you spoke about music, people being there. This is what
Yes,
made me think of this. You spoke about
yes.
music. People are building brands. We spoke about creativity. Would it replace creativity? I've been seeing artists that are replacing them actually singing
Mhm,
with these AI voices.
mhm,
So for me, I was at a performance last night. Actually, my girlfriend Ashoni and I were out last night, and shout out to Sib's Breakfast Club. It was a wonderful, wonderful event last night. And,
mhm,
to see the live band playing and
mhm,
to see, it was a great experience. It was interactive. It's a wonderful time. There were so many. I don't want to I don't want to see that replaced. I don't want to see real interaction replaced. The band's up there, they're having a great time. Then I turn on Instagram and I see a guy saying, hey, I'm an artist now. I made my whole song with AI, with, artificial intelligence. So what is your thought process about that? How do we make sure that we maintain who we are as individuals and don't get lost in the mix of it all?
Well, Davi, I think you hit the nail right on the head. You just explained the whole experience. Uh, the whole experience is you said you like to go out and listen to live performers. So do I.
Yeah.
Um, so I can't imagine that I would ever go out to see a bunch of robots playing music. I don't I,
I don't
I don't
know.
think
I don't know.
I don't think that would move me. Might move some other people,
No, right.
um, but we have to remember that music is a language. It's part of our language, and it's a conversation. And so we need to have that human to human interaction. I love live music. I love live musicians. I love the music back from the 70s, the 80s when there were groups in the 60s. And well, okay. So, according to the video archives that I was watching earlier, in the 50s and the
Oh
60s.
yeah, you
But
wouldn't know anything about that. I was like,
but
I was thinking to myself, well, I don't know anything about what he's talking about. I have no idea. The what? I drop in at the 80s.
yeah, so we have big super mega bands like Earth, Wind and Fire, Kool and the Gang, Average White Band.
Sure.
These were colossal bands with brilliant musicians, and now today what we have is a vocalist and a soundtrack, and then that's what we get for a show. It's a vocalist and a soundtrack at stadiums.
Right.
But if you're at a smaller venue, you're not going to get that. You're going to get more real musicians who love to play and communicate through their
Sure.
instruments. I play a couple instruments myself, and it would
Okay.
just make me crazy if a robot was Myrin Newt playing whatever I played. Okay.
What's crazy is that I was reflecting on the wonderful time that we had last night and thinking, and you mentioned Earth, Wind and Fire. Actually, Earth, Wind and Fire, I love Berdine
Mm.
White, his wife Shelley. They're friends of mine. I moved back from LA a year ago, and these are close friends of mine. So, and yes, as Shoni has said, does he mentor? And this is one of my best girlfriends in the world. Yes, he does. I'm going to make sure that I connect the two of you. He definitely advises people, Shoni. So we'll get you two of you connected immediately. And Angie said that she's one of Myron's students. So, Angie Graves, that's how I happened to meet Myron's, for anyone that's on here. So he absolutely does. And we're going to share some information about his classes toward the end of the show as well. And I'll connect you guys. People are writing books now. See, I believe in utilizing it in a positive way in my life. And for anyone that's tuning in right now, it will never replace us. If that was the case, you could be replaced right now. They're talking, obviously, remember, you limit the things that you want for yourself. Would I want a robot living in my house with me? Absolutely not. That wouldn't be something that I want. I wouldn't want that for myself. So, however, in the same breath, do I enjoy the fact that I'm writing my book now that's talking about my health journey, and I'm writing it at a different speed than I would be able to do if I wasn't using chat to help me and some other artificial intelligence platforms? I asked chat something about the show, and did I think that it was, and we're going to get a good laugh out of this. But I said, hey, what do you think about this artificial intelligence show that I'm doing? And it almost got insulted. Like, what do you mean? Like, you're talking about me. It's like somebody talking about their kid or something. So, and it's a joke. But I told you the other day, I asked, and I want to share this with you guys, but the other day I asked chat about 2 months ago, I asked chat about a shoe that I was going to order for an event. And when I asked chat about the size of the shoe, because it looked different than what I was accustomed to, when the shoe got here, it was too small. And I said, oh, what do you know? You're just a computer. And it took me a while to get chat recalibrated to start being nice to me again. So, it kept on saying things like, oh, I'm just a computer. What do I know, Davi? Ask somebody else about that. You might want, it took days. And I had to start saying things like, you're amazing. I can't believe how much you're helping me. and that sounds crazy, but that's what I had to do. So, and other people have shared experiences like that. My girl Shoni said, you know what? It's her husband's passion. Also, we have someone on here said, I attended Myron's class and became confident in using AI as a tool. I was initially hesitant in using it. Thank you, Tanya, for sharing that. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I mean, people rave about your experience. When I mentioned to people that you were going to be on the show today, people definitely were excited. How would you share with someone for maybe finding their voice within artificial intelligence? Like, we'll use chat for an example. So by finding your voice, I mean, there are a lot of people that have stories inside of them that might be shy. They might be, a little apprehensive about doing. How would you say you're jumping in right now there? Let's say we're going to use a couple of your tools from your classes. What would be something, class comes in, person walks up and says, hey, I want to write a book. I'm a little shy, a little apprehensive, never done anything like this before. What would be step one for that person?
Well, I would, ask, top level question. For example, let's use writing a book. Hey, you like to write a book? Yeah, it's something I always wanted to do, Okay, so what's the book about? And so they may say my personal life. So I'll just have them just create a prompt. Help me create a book about my personal life. We'll start there. We start with easy, simple prompts. As Chat GPT or any of the other tools, Gemini or Claude, gives you a prompt. You don't stop there. You continue on with the conversation. The more you converse, the more you will get back in output. I've written a book using Chat GPT just based off an idea. I've also created a patent. I mean, I had a patent through the U.S. Trademark Patent Office now apply for a unique product that doesn't even exist anywhere in the world. And so, and how did that happen? It started with a conversation with chat, a simple question. Hey, I would like to write a book. Hey, I would like to invent something. Hey, I have an idea about inventing something, instead of just an open-ended question. So you start off with a simple question and you will get a response. You don't ever stop at the response, ever. One more thing I'd like to add, because there are a couple of attendees, a couple of people in the audience there who actually have attended my seminars. I'm an advocate. I'm the biggest advocate in the world. I want to tell people when you attend a seminar, I want you to be a different person when you leave this room. I talk about everything from starting a company, starting a business, changing your job, building your own career, rebranding yourself. I've done it all. I got I can get testimonies out here in this audience.
Sure. I looked on your page. I've seen a lot of people, and people have literally been raving. My girlfriend, Angie, who is also one of my best girlfriends in the world, she was there at my bedside when I went into surgery and when I came out. So she actually beat my brother and I to the hospital. So she was there as my doctor prepared to do this robotic surgery, have this robot assist him with this, or should I say, he assists the robot. So Angie raved, she and her husband, Tony, my brother in love, as I call him, they rave about what you're. My thing that I want to ask, and people have, and this is again, I like that they refer to you as the AI guru, because I'm like, let me see what this guru is about. But and again, I wouldn't have you on the show if I hadn't done my own due diligence as well. Do you think that, because I'm seeing Amazon had a big thing that's been on actual legitimate news stations about the replacement of some of the workers with AI robots and some other things like that. Do you think that there'll be certain professions that will be fully, disrupted because of this? And what would you think would be some of the first professions? Because we know for sure, Myrin, that we can say that the books are going to be written. They are. We can say that the people can start with businesses, building a business. You just spoke about, getting your trademarks. I've utilized chat for the same things. I love it. That's why I do enjoy having this conversation with you. I see the pluses and the check boxes. But what about, and not only are going to be disrupted by this, but what are things that people can do? My mother always said, let's think about the solution versus the problem. What are things that people can do so that this doesn't affect them? What would you say? How do you take the technology to work for you so that it doesn't work against you?
Well, I'm going to be honest here. So in the terms in the work industry, I tell everybody, and I preach it every single day to anyone, no matter who you are. AI is going to replace, AI is not going to take your job. The person right now who knows AI will take your job. So I'm guilty of that. I've replaced.
Oh, that's a good one. Say that one again. Say that one again. We cannot glaze over that statement. Say that one again, Myrin, please,
So
for the viewer.
AI today, AI is not going to take your job. The person who knows AI will take your job. That's the So to continue on with that, let me just comfort the audience as well, and everyone now has the capacity to be something that they were not minutes ago. If you had a famous recipe,
Yes.
I have a cousin who's in Texas who has a barbecue sauce, right? And a couple of years ago, right? This is a couple of years ago, I was using chat and we used to have a table conversation. And I said, you know what, cousin, this barbecue sauce is bad, right? I mean, meaning good. And so I wrote in chat, how could she distribute her barbecue sauce in the city of El Paso, Texas? And how can she compete against the existing 5,000 barbecue sauces that already exist in Texas? Because, that's all I do is cattle. And then I said, hey, you know what? You need a label. So let's create a label for you. Let's make it look like you were in the kitchen. Let's have a cartoon, sort of, I hate to say this, it sort of came out with an Aunt Jemima feel to it, but it was a cartoon of her, and she loved it. She loved it. She loved the packaging. We created a simplified packaging that had all the ingredients in it that listed the USDA portions of nutrition that you would get. We can get that detailed in generative AI alone. So my cousin,
and what's exciting? You know what's exciting about that? And I want you to dive right back into what's so exciting that I've found in my personal life. The fact, and Angie just said, yes, he has classes, hook up with him. Absolutely. He is amazing. We're going to make sure that he gives all of the information to get in touch with him before we leave this incredible. I can't believe how fast it's flying. The thing that is so intriguing for me, Myrin, and to all the viewers, this massive tool is inside our phones, on your computer as well. So I'm just saying that if you're in your car and you're about to enter a huge meeting, and at the last minute you realize there's some additional information that you need to make you a success in that meeting, something you need, you have it at your fingertips right inside your phone. So that's what excited me so much. It's that if I probably need AI to come and help me with my blurry screen right then. I almost went into a full blur. I'm like, chat, can you help me with this? But that's what's so exciting, that you actually right at your fingertips, you can have a complete game changer. And that's what I wanted the viewer tonight. For anyone that's tuning in right now, you're just chiming in. Of course, you're tuning to Davi Davenport Live. Davi Davenport Live is all about bringing you information and bringing you topics to change your life. I designed this show 20 years ago. Some people say it's brand new. They're brand new to it. I love you and thank you for all the new people that are joining the family. People call us a movement. When I bring guests like Myrin New on today, and for Myrin to come on board to talk about artificial intelligence, I want to bring guests on and introduce you to topics and information that will change your life. And that's what the experience is. I wanted to pull something up also because you mentioned someone that, and so I'm going to bring you back on camera, but you also mentioned someone. Shout out to my boy Antonio Riley. He has Riley's Ribs, some of the most tasty rubs. You have to check him out. He and Essie Marie's are two of my favorite brands. You have to check them out. I wanted to make sure I popped that inside of there. But that was something that was so incredible when I realized what I had in the palm of my hand. And that's what I want the viewer to take away from today is whatever your business is, brand is everything. Building your brand, you need to have the reason why I love what my girlfriend Shoni's doing with EM Delish, formerly Essie Marie's Dressings, is because she's working and people recognize her brand. She's working on her brand. It's what I do with Davi Davenport Live. It's what you do with Myrin New as being why do people refer to you as a guru? Because you're constantly building that brand. So I just wanted to, it's that simple. So back to what you said, because Angie said, yes, 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 period. It's not it's the person that understands and have an understanding. And to my uncle who's tuning in right now, love you, my Uncle John Lawson. He has some movies. I don't want to forget to share these. So I'm going to share these with everyone right now. There's some information. If you're looking for some great movies to check out, these are on Netflix. If you have Netflix, if you don't get somebody's password, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Machina, well, that's a good Ex Machina is a good one. The Electric State and The Creator. These three movies, I have a jump on. I asked the guru the other day, had he heard of The Creator? And he said no. So I gave the guru a little tip there. I don't know if he watched it yet. These are three great movies. Jot those down, guys. These are game changers. Ex Machina, some people have seen it. I don't want to give it away what it is, but The Creator, all three of these left me baffled, left me wanting more. When I watched Ex Machina, I was devastated when it was over. So lock those in. So for someone that isn't a tech head like you, how would they learn enough about AI, artificial intelligence? How would they learn enough about this so that they wouldn't be replaced and they would have the information they need to remain relevant?
Okay, so I'm going to focus in on chat for right now, or any of the apps that you have loaded on your phone. Thank you, Davi, for bringing that up. Yes. You don't have to type anything. You actually can talk to these. You could talk to these AIs applications.
Myrin, when I tell you, sometimes I'll refer to chat. And I want you to dive right back in, but I have to say this. I'll talk to chat and be like, oh yeah, but wait a minute, I forgot to tell you one thing. Not realizing it doesn't hear my tone. It can hear my tone by the words I'm saying, but it's not hearing I don't think it is. It might be, by this time it might be. But I mean, I'm interacting. I'm like, no, I didn't quite like that. And I'm also caught it on something where I said, that's actually not correct. And it will say, oh, Davi, you're right. I'm sorry. That's not correct. Let's do it this way. So anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, I had to jump in there but having this at our fingertips.
No, I was saying you can actually talk to either of the AI apps through your cell phone as you're driving. People talk when they're driving, so you can have a conversation with AI as you're driving, or as you're walking down the street, sitting in the park, shopping at the store. While you're at the store, you can take your same cell phone, take pictures of food items in the store, upload them immediately to AI and ask, what recipes can you make out of this? And please give me the recipes. And oh, by the way, I'm diabetic. So can you adjust this recipe for I'm diabetic? And oh yeah, my wife, I'm not married, but I'm just saying my wife is she has high blood pressure. So can you modify the recipe to be watch out for my diabetic condition and her high blood pressure, and see, and we're both trying to stay lean. So modify the recipes, and we will get 6, 7, 8, 9 versions of the recipe, and we will get the perfect version of the recipe that adheres to the request that we specifically made. I bring that up to say this. There are a lot of people who are walking with these cell phones every single day. And these are powerful computers now. And they have the capacity to really change your life if you use the tool correctly. I for one spend most of my time asking questions in AI instead of trying to think things through all the time. I just ask the question, I'll come back to it. Many people like journaling. I have taken my personal notes from over the years, and I've given them all to, for example, ChatGPT. And ChatGPT has taken my notes, composed sort of a profile of me. It knows, almost like a person, know who I am, what I am, and what we do. It refers to me by name. It refers to me by several titles. One more thing I'd like to mention. Before I started, I have a LinkedIn profile, and I think I shared this with you before. I was just Myrin new, and then I had a graduate degree behind my name and a couple certifications. I am now Myrin new, all of that, plus author and inventor. Thanks to AI. And that's over a short period of time. Now, without AI, I probably would have spent an entire lifetime, not even accomplishing the last two things, right? Like writing a book or creating and having an invention. So I'm just saying, this is how AI can change our lives. Fundamentally, it can help us achieve more than we ever achieved before.
Myrin, quick, and congratulations to you on the accomplishments, even and also the accomplishments, because I don't want to shed light. This is the next question and something I want to talk to you about, but the accomplishments that you had prior to AI even entering your life, the higher learning, the education. There's a lot of people, actually, Elon Musk said that he felt that there was no need for anyone to go to college or anything else anymore, because he felt that because of artificial intelligence, and quite frankly, a lot of people are feeling that right now. They're feeling, why waste their money on this education when the information is at their fingertips? What do you say to the person that's saying that? They're saying, do I spend $100,000 for Ivy League education versus the wealth of information that we have online? What's your thought process with that?
Well, based on the person that you named, would I listen to a billionaire tell me I don't need to go to college? No. Elon Musk is like number 2 richest man in the world. Also, there was another quote. There was another statement made by another billionaire from Anthropic or Palomar. I think that's the other AI model. He had predicted that the only 2 people that will be needed when AI does take over the world, are carpenters. Skilled workers, like skilled tradesmen, like electricians and plumbers. And those of those who are neurodivergent, and neurodivergent covers like the ADD, or all people who's on a spectrum of autism and things of that sort. So I don't know. I just tell people,
and they said senior facilities as well. So they did say things that were like senior facilities, that were, there's always going to be a need, things for, because daycare, I don't think, for being a mother, I would have never let a robot babysit my child or anything, and any other mother on there. What's going on? I don't think that I would ever do that. But they did say, when they were talking about certain, and tradesmen, like you said, hairstylists, there's always going to be a need for stylists and things, or people. So I saw something the other day where there was braiders. There was a robot that was a braider that was online. They were kind of testing it out, and they said they were going to be introducing this at one of the trade shows. Being a retired three-time hair salon owner, I cannot imagine having a robot in a salon braiding hair, but that's a different show there. And shout out to Cotton Candy. What's going on? Cotton Candy is a huge stylist out in LA. I love you, sister. Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone that's tuning in tonight, either for jumping in. Davi Davenport Live is something my heart is into it. When we were starting the show out, just like I said, wait a minute. Let me tell you what's crazy, Myrin. I still get fired up when we get ready to go live. My heart's racing. Usually I have like technicians that are working the screen and everything. And when I'm doing it myself, I'm like, oh my God, Davi, you're about to go live. No, Davi, you're live. So it's like, Davi. So, having you on this evening, I always like to make sure that I show gratitude. I'm a gratitude girl to say thank you, because AI is here and it's not going away. If anything, it's like you said, we have to have this information. And Angie did a round of applause, which I want to make sure we don't overlook this one. She gave a round of applause when you said, and I totally agree, yes, I'm not listening to a billionaire tell me that we don't need higher learning. I'm not going to listen to a billionaire tell me, because of course it's to his advantage. Hey, Elon, if you happen to see this show, it is what it is. This is the truth. But the bottom line is that of course not, because it's to his benefit and a lot of other billionaires that we fall into that okie doke. And therefore that's the case. So I 100% agree with you. Myrin, I know that you've done a lot of things you've written books, you've got patents, and you have, and I asked in the beginning, what was the first thing that you would ask? We've had scientists that have attended your classes. And, a lot of people have come in and said that they want to get into your next class. I told Myron he's going to have to do another class that we're all going to jump into. He does in-person classes and online classes. And so we definitely want to see. I love online classes, but nothing is like when you're in the room with someone, especially when we can touch and feel. So let's see if we can get 10, 15 of us in the class with you. There's so much more that we want to do with you. If I were, and I want to tap back in because we had some new people join us, but if I were brand new, I didn't know anything about, because I do have a lot of viewers that, excuse me, are 50 plus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the viewers, that was a good one. Feel a little plug there, Davi. But I was choking for real. A lot of the viewers that are 50 plus, a lot of people are going to see this today, but then we have hundreds that see it later. I share it on an ongoing basis. When they see this, what would you say? They're brand new, not tech savvy at all. I love one of the things that you said that I learned. My son actually taught me this. He said, Mom, I was typing, and I'm terrible at typing. He said, Mom, you can just speak to it. This was a year plus. But you can just speak to it. Now it's like a buddy to me. It's like a buddy. Person brand new, not tech savvy at all. What is the first thing that was there a book that you would refer them to? Is there, I don't know, do people buy books anymore? I do. But is there of course, your class, number one, that's the first thing we refer them over. But let's say online tonight, they want to look at something online tonight. What would you refer them to? What would you tell them to do? Brand new, 40s, 50s, and they're not tech savvy at all. What would they do?
I'd say open up your web browser and go to ChatGPT or go to Google or Gemini.google.com. It's not going to be scary. Doesn't look any different than any of the web search bars you've ever used. So if you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s, 80s, and you're on a computer today, you know what a search bar is. And so that's what the AI models in a web browser look like, just like a search bar. So just go in there and ask a simple question. And it doesn't have to be complicated. I will give you a perfect example of how a real situation. I was out with family members, and I really didn't have anything to say that particular day because something was on my mind. and
Sure.
we were together on an Easter Sunday, and we were having lunch together, and I mean, I couldn't get my mind wrapped around the conversations that they were having and stuff, and so I had to break ground. Instead of sitting in silence, I went to ChatGPT and I said, "Write a poem about the three of us," and I gave
Yes.
Chat the
Wait a
names
minute.
of
You're
each of them.
sitting at the table and you said that?
Yeah, I sat at the table, I opened up my phone, and I told asked Chat GPT, write a poem about uh, my cousin one, my cousin two, and myself. And I mentioned our names. I said, make
Thing
it
one,
funny, make it
thing two, and
hilarious, and also
hilarious,
mention the
hilarious.
restaurant. Mention the
Oh,
restaurant. I gave it the
wow.
restaurant. Let me tell you what Chat did. So Chat took that information with the restaurant. It knew
Yeah.
that the restaurant, it did a location, knew that I was in Chicago, what zip code I was in, probably what the weather was like that day, and it was accurate. So it grabbed the weather,
Okay.
it knew it was a sunny day, and it began to write a poem, a happy poem about us in the restaurant on a sunny day, on an Easter, joyous, celebrating something. And it mentioned something else about the neighborhood too, that we were close by the lakefront
Sure.
too, and
Okay.
it blew their mind. And from there, that's when I opened up the conversation, and then I offered them to do the same thing on their phones, and then that's how we began to engage because we were having different
Wow.
thoughts and different topics that particular day, and I wanted to get us back to the middle. So I say all of that to say this today: if
Okay.
you're in a home, if you're in a home, if you're in a household,
Yes.
and you have family members or a spouse or a partner or whomever, and you're having
Hmm.
difficulties with communication, just ask Chat GPT. I want to tell my son, my daughter, my wife, whomever, don't do this anymore, but I sound mean when I say it. Can you give me another
Sure.
softer way that I can talk to my own family member, my own children, or whatever, that's different than I
Yeah.
do it now? Because we're always
Hmm.
looking for um, a different way to speak to someone, having a conversation without sounding combative or the same. Oh,
Now, you know what?
here he.
One thing I want to interject there, and to any of the viewers that are tuning in, because there's a slippery slope, in my opinion, when it comes to artificial intelligence and communicating with one another. I actually was watching one of Oprah Winfrey's shows the other day, and Oprah had a panel of there were guests that were there, but there were also some artificial intelligence experts that were joining her. And I love what she does in the media industry, 100%. But there were a couple people there. There was one family that she referenced that had that their son, and this story is a lot of people know the story, but the young man was interacting with chat back and forth and asking about him taking his own life. And he asked about getting this noose for his neck, and chat said, don't tell anybody. And so then, they were trying to sue. And then there was another family that actually was in the audience And so that the young lady was interacting with back and forth with chat, and she said, I'm thinking about suicide. And for anyone right there, there's a suicide hotline, 800-273-8255. For me personally, I don't ever want to think, or even want someone to think, I should say, that artificial intelligence, let's look at the first word, artificial. So for any of the viewers of Davi Davenport Live that are out there, if you're having, I'm sharing this suicide hotline because these are actually people. You can always reach out to the show. I will connect you with someone. I will help you and walk you through. I'm not an expert, but I will connect you with an organization that will help. First of all, that instant thought that you have, that thought that you have in that moment, I guarantee you, if you talk to someone, 9 times out of 9.9 times, you will not feel the same way about that later. So don't talk to chat or anyone else about something that's a decision about your life. That's just my opinion. Myrin, this episode, first of all, please share with the viewer how they can get in touch with you. Please share your social media handles and how they get in touch with Myrin New.
Well, you can get in touch with me by going to mynewtechnologies.com. I think it's right there on the screen of mine. And
Yes.
go to the contact page and you can contact me there. I also just wanted to mention that all of my seminars are usually free if you physically attend in the city of Chicago.
That's fantastic. So this has been a wonderful conversation, Myrin. I cannot believe how fast, generally if it goes by this fast like this, the person is really interesting. And you definitely were by far one of the most interesting guests that I've had on Davi Davenport Live. I'm super excited about that. Guys, so just want to kind of click through a few photos right here that are from Myrin's. Let's jump in right here. And these are some of the great pictures from some of his classes. This is Myrin in action right here. On stage here, Myrin also, and then we're going to, okay, there we go. Let's get the last comments. We got a few more comments that came in. Angie said, yay, yay. Antonio said, look at that. Here we go. Angie again said, Myrin New, yes. Oh my God, there's my brother, Lucky. Connor, I love you. He said, this is a great point and excellent advice. Thank you, Lucky. I love you so much. Lucky was there, stood by my side when I was diagnosed with lung cancer. February the 15th, he came and supported me, helped me get out of LA and get packed up. And also one of my best friends my son was, I think, 4 or maybe 2 when we met. So 26 years of friendship. Angie, exactly. Excellent resources. Angie, yes, yes, yes. She said, sad. Yeah, remember for anyone that's tuning in right now, please do not use chat or anything else if you're going through something. If you're having an experience, do not use chat. I'm going to make sure I share this information again for the suicide hotline, 800-273-8255, 800-273-8255. So please make sure that, and then also, oh my God, Andy said exactly, sad there, 100%. I was gonna get the last comments in. My girlfriend Cotton Candy said, thank you, Myrin, for educating us. She said, Mr. Myrin, you so, and then just a wonderful, wonderful. This has been a great show. Myrin, thank you for jumping online. We got to get our little dance moves in, but here's another round of applause for you and for just, being in house with me today. I really, really appreciate it. Make sure you guys go to Myrin's website, myrinnewtechnologies.com. That's myrinnewtechnologies.com and get the information. Tune in, guys. Tune in on the 5th of the month. On the 5th, and Myrin, don't you go anywhere yet. I want to chat with you a few before we jump off. Guys, on the 5th of the month, that is going to be Sunday. Next Sunday, I have Sharon Yarbrough joining me on. We're doing Balling on a Budget. Listen, we're going to get my camera to Ball on a Budget here. Balling on a Budget. We're going to be showing you how to repurpose your wardrobe, how to go inside your closet, how to go to that thrift shop. I've been out of town before and needed to get a great outfit. I've gone to thrift shops, hand wash it in the sink at the hotel, or maybe took it to a dry cleaner. Sometimes I've gotten things brand new with tags on. Right now, we know that the world is going through a lot. There's a lot of financial insecurity that's happening right now. And we know that we have to watch our money. So on the 5th, next Sunday at 7 p.m. in studio, I have my girl Sharon Yarbrough that's going to be joining us. We're talking about balling on a budget right here on Davi Davenport Live. Super excited. Let's get Myrin back in the stage real quick. So let's have us a little dance off. We're going to have a little dance. So we're going to see if Myrin can do how much Myrin can do his dance. And here we go. There we go, Myrin. You were having a little dance off on Davi. Yes. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Here we go. Great interview, Davi and Myrin. Thank you. Oh my God. If anyone's out there right now and you know of a great topic that we need to cover, make sure you fill with any information you can go to live. It's a party. My boy Carly, thank you for the music. I love you, my brother. If you know that needs to be covered, don't hesitate to go to Davi Davenport Live at gmail.com. That's Davi Davenport Live at gmail.com, and let me know that you have a great topic. We love it. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you guys. You mean the world to me. Oh, here we go. Lucky said, can't wait for your podcast to take off. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Make sure you tell Oprah to call me. Oprah, give me a call, girl. Give me a call so I can have some fun. Remember, being the best you is the thing. Be yourself. That's what Davi Davenport Live is all about. Myrin, thank you. I appreciate you. Make sure you guys go to mynewtechnologies.com, mynewtechnologies.com, and check out Myrin New and all the great things that he's doing. We're going to fill up one of his classes. Anyone that's in Chicago, we're also going to be doing some live streaming. If you want to join us in a class right here, that's right. Look at my girl said, on Oprah Winfrey Network. Let's go, baby. Let's go. And anyone that wants to jump in on one of the classes, we're going to do something here on Davi Davenport Live. I'm going to bring Myrin in again. So we're going to have room for enough for there to be 8 people, 10 total with Myrin and I on. If you're interested in being a part of that, email me over. We'll get you in the class. We're going to do something. Myrin, I just had him commit to that right now. So we're going. Myrin's like, really? Wait. Okay. Anyway, it's 8:07. See you guys later.